Colorado Bend is a state park. We didn't have to pay an entrance fee, but you do have to go to the headquarters to get a sticker for your car.
If you have small kids, it's worth the effort getting up early, getting out there early, beating the sun.
Yeah, once we got all loaded up and sunscreened up, we started hiking. And it's about, how long of a hike is it?
So about 1.5 to 1.75 miles.
Most of it is pretty easy. Our kids hike most of it by themselves, but there's little to no shade. So I think that's what started to get the kids, as they started to get hot. So they took a lot of breaks, and then we got to shady points. And Charlie always just wants to be held. And we didn't bring a carrier for her this time. We just brought one for the baby. So we were trying to push her to see how far she could go so that we could see what we could do during the summer. She did great, but she did need breaks. Once we hike the first part, we get to this fork in the trail, and you could either go right to get to the springs or left to continue to the falls. I was under the impression that the springs was where you swim. No, the springs is a glorified creek. The springs feed into the fall, so you're not allowed to get in them, and you're also not allowed to touch the falls.
Okay, it's a protected wildlife area.
It's great and everything, except for when you're hot and you're pretty sure you could have swam there with your kids.
It's very pretty to look at.
Do it after you go to the falls.
There you go.
Because if you go to the left and you hike to the falls, you can look at the falls in the shade and then climb down. It's kind of like a steep, muddy slide down into the Colorado River below the falls, and the falls feed into the river, so you can get into the river and play there and get all cooled off. Then you can hike back over to the springs and look at the glorified creek.
Yeah, so we hiked all the way down. We made the right-hand turn to go to the springs. We saw the springs.
For some reason, there's like a good 50 yards between Charlie and Dad and 50 yards between Charlie and Mom. You know, she wanders and she dawdles and she looks at everything, so we didn't think it was a big deal that she just randomly stops, crouches down, and stares at something. But then she says, "Look, a snake!" And we're like, "Oh, yeah, is there a snake?" But she's been pretending this whole time to see a snake.
And they always ask about snakes.
Right, because we ran into someone who told us to look out for snakes. We didn't think, I didn't think we'd ever see a real snake on any of our adventures. But we saw one, and it was huge. I don't know, I find ourselves really lucky that it didn't get threatened by Charlie coming so close to it. She was so close to it.
We hiked all the way down. We made the right-hand turn to go to the springs. We saw the springs. There's another little cut through to get back from the springs to Gorman Falls. Once you get down, the descent is actually pretty steep and slick. If it's raining out or wet at all, it is going to be super slick. They have kind of guardrails or little wire rails you can hold on to. Our two oldest, they could actually handle it mostly on themselves. I helped Charlie, our 3-year-old. She handled it actually pretty well. She just treated it like a slide and sit down on her bum.
Which we recommend.
Yeah. Once you get down to Gorman Falls, the temperature drops about 15 degrees. Cool misting coming off the springs waterfall.
like a little deck with benches. Like it's like a deck, and then the whole perimeter is like benches for you to sit on because you're tired after this. And you can look at it, look down, and look over into the next falls.
Yeah, take a minute, sit and enjoy it.
We let Pow Pow out. She just crawled all over that deck. Just make sure they don't crawl off.
Hi. Hey, you made it all this way, big girl. You did such a great job.
Alright guys, ready to hike back and go get cold in the water? We went down and we swam in the bottom. The falls kind of run into the Colorado River. Crystal clear water, cold, really refreshing, and we needed it.
Oh gosh, did we need it?
By the time we were hiking out, it was 100-ish degrees.
And noon, after that long, or what seemed like long, hot hike, we got in that car, blasted that AC, drove all the way back to where headquarters is and Spicewood Springs is, and we swam. We swam and swam and ate and drank and put up the sombria and hung out in the shade.
So we swam.
I didn't even change. I just got in the water and swam in my hiking clothes.
It felt so good.
Yeah.
Chew and then swallow, then jump.
Colorado Bend is highly recommended.